Okay, so let's start. Let me see. Share my screen, entire screen. This. Okay, okay, okay. Uh, what I'm going to do? Let me focus here only. Just give me a minute. बढ़ता ही जाए दर्द हो कुछ ना मैं भूल भाई ये सब ये इसलिए कर रहा हूँ लेट्स स्टडी द यूएमएल डायग्राम एंड ऑल ठीक है तो शुरू करते हैं सबसे पहला चीज हम क्या कर रहे हैं आज का टॉपिक हमारा क्या होने वाला है हमारा आज का टॉपिक होने वाला है 8 नंबर एलएलडी का अपना क्या होने वाला है अपना क्या होने वाला है यूएमएल डायग्राम्स अच्छा अरे यार हो जाओ यूएमएल यूएमएल डायग्राम ठीक है साइज थोड़ा बड़ा कर लेते हैं देखने में थोड़ा अच्छा तो लगे ठीक है सबसे पहले इसमें देखते हैं कि यूएमएल डायग्राम होता क्या है यूएमएल डायग्राम का फुल फॉर्म होता है यूनिफाइड मॉडलिंग लैंग्वेज तो इन शॉर्ट ये है कि ये एक तरह का डायग्राम होता है जो रिप्रेजेंट करता है सिस्टम आर्किटेक्चर एंड डिजाइन तो यहाँ पे क्या होता है इंस्टेड ऑफ राइटिंग द लॉन्ग पैराग्राफ या एक्सप्लेनेशन ऑफ द पर्टिकुलर प्रोग्राम स्ट्रक्चर हम लोग बस एक डायग्राम के थ्रू इंडिकेट करते हैं कि क्या होना चाहिए क्या नहीं होना चाहिए तो इसमें बताएगा कि वाई यूएमएल डायग्राम्स ठीक है लेट इट बी दिस टॉपिक टाइप्स ऑफ यूएमएल डायग्राम ये भी देख ही लेते हैं जब पढ़ ही रहे हैं तो वाई यूएमएल प्रॉब्लम विद द टेक्स्ट राइटिंग वही है कि लेंदी पैराग्राफ से बचने के लिए ऑब्जेक्ट एंटिटी डिफाइन करने के लिए और उसके बीच के रिलेशनशिप को डिफाइन करने के लिए हम यूएमएल डायग्राम का यूज़ करते हैं तो और क्या होता है कि diagrammatically represent it's clearly shown that which component entity exists at applications and how they are connected to each others okay so what are the types of UML diagram divided into mainly two main categories the first is a structural diagram and the second is behavioral diagram so mainly what we focus we focus on a structural diagram with that is called static diagram what it shows that a structural diagram is that shows the structure of particular applications and it define the already exist components so and how two yeah more than two components are connected to each others by the relationship has a relationship is a relationship something like that and second is a behavior diagram if I use a behavior diagram in future then I will going to introduce this particular also so for the low level design interview we have a two diagrams are mostly essentials the first is class diagram that is also called structure diagram and the second is called sequencer diagram that is called behavior diagrams okay so the behavior diagram is what it is a kind of dynamic diagrams that shows how components interact with each other and it is a kind of flow of data how it is flowing from one component to another component to one microservices to different microservices you can understand by that and how it get back to response to the users so this is what the sequence diagram shows it's a flow of execution of my program a flow of execution of my uh, applications you can understand by this so So here till now we understand what is the UML diagram. UML diagram is nothing but just a visual representation of a system architecture and design. And the second is what are the types of UML diagram. The first is a two types of is the first one is a structural diagram and the second is behavior diagram. That is also you can understand by the class diagram and the sequence diagram. The class diagram is what? It's my structural diagram, and the sequence diagram is what? It's my behavior diagram. So definitely, let's directly jump to the class diagram. What is my class diagram? Class diagram is something. Let me just check. Am I live or not on my phone? ये सब फोन की आदत लग गई है, इसलिए ये सब करना पड़ रहा है ताकि कंस्ट्रेंट रहूं कि मुझे लाइव है। देखता हूँ देखता हूँ और क्या होता है कि diagrammatically represent it's clearly shown that which component. Wow, it is. I'm alive. Okay, guys. I know nobody will going to see it because I will keep this private after this. And my बस मैं रिवाइज करूंगा. So, what is class diagram? The class diagram. Let's firstly focus on what is a class diagram. Class diagram representation all classes in applications and how classes are connected and associated with each others. So, okay, so fine. Class diagram is a kind of a structure diagram, and what a structure diagram consists, it consists all the classes of my particular applications. Here it is written all the classes of my particular applications and how the classes are connected and associated with each others. This is so is my class diagram. What are the types of class diagram? We have a sorry, not a types, it's a component. The first is a class structure representation and the second is the relationship between the classes. The first is first focus on the representation of classes, then we will focus on the relationship part also. So what is the basic structure? The basic structure is a class represented by the rectangular divided into the three sections. The first section is called the class name, and the second section is for attributes of variable you can understand, and the second is a behavior and the function method. Definitely, within some minute, we will going to particularly focus on with an example to understand uh, how it's going. So, for example, we have a class definition like class name is called car, and we have a string, brand, model, and engine cc. So, what is the behavior? Behavior of any engine is something like a start engine, stop engine, accelerate, yeah, brake. So this is the functionality of a car classes. These four are my behaviors and these three is my characteristics. Now, the question is that Anwar, how you are going to represent this class into a class diagram. What the class diagram consists? It consists what it consists? It consists my class name. Second is attributes, and the third is method, yeah, functions we can say. So here is an example. We have a car classes. Okay, we have a car classes, and first I will going to write a car. Why? Because we divided our class is in a three part. The first is class name, then about the variable, then about the methods. So the first in what? First is what? The car. The second is what? The brand, model, engine. This is my variable. Like, give me take let me take another example. uh, there is a student class. In a student class, what is the variable, what is the characteristics? The first is okay, if it is a student class, then definitely must have a class a student name. Fine. Okay. Then what is a roll number? Okay, the second variable. Okay, And what is standard? It's maybe the first sensor, second sensor, 9th, 10th, anything like that. So that is a very well. And the last is my methods. Same goes to here. We have a string, sorry, brand model engine, and that in the third part we have a this particular methods. So this is a complete a small understanding of my UML representation of particular class. Let me go through with the key points. Even if I'm rating the first time, actually I feel so bored to do that. That's the reason I decided to go live and start teaching me as a student and as a teacher. I'm a student, I'm a teacher. Okay. So first, the first section is my class name. The second is a variable attribute as already decided, and the section third is like a method name, and the fourth is a format difference is in diagram the right name, then type opposite of the code. Okay, we have access modifier in a class diagram. We have a three type of access modifier. Uh, you can understand this plus as a public and hash as a protected and negative as a private. So we have a three types of public, protected, and private. When it is a three type of things, then in a symbol, by the symbol we are going to represent public as a plus, protected as a hash, and private as a minus. Within a class, what can we consist? It can be consist of public, yes. Can it consist protected? Yes. Can it consist of private? Yes. So this is the definition for the class, and for the child classes we have a two. It's maybe my club public, I have protected, and for the outside of classes it is only the public. So we will going to take one of the example, like a car class only, to understand the access modifier in the class diagram. Fine. So we mainly in Java we have a four type of access modifier. The first is public, protected, private, and default. Here we discuss more aligned to the public, protected, and private. Let me take example. We have once again the same car classes. If it is the same car classes, the first is private string brand. What if there is a private, its sign is negative, then how I'm going to represent minus? This is the brand, and this is a private. If this is a hash, it means that what? It means it is a protected. If it is a plus, what is mean by that? It means that it is public. Same goes to my particular methods. Okay, here till now we understand a few parts. Uh, few here is explanation that before brand private only accessible within the class. Okay, and protect accessible in class. Okay, this define that which access modifier has a kind of leverage to for my creation of object taking reference of my particular methods. So for the private is only accessible within the class. Let me just revise the things. This is a core Java concept, but here for myself I'm revising it. And for has before the model is a protected accessible in a class and the child classes. And when it comes to the plus, public plus consists of a public. Public is accessible from anywhere to anywhere. Now till the part one, what we understand the till the part one we understand some key points regarding what is UML diagram. Fine, what is UML diagram? UML diagram is a visual representation of a system architecture and design. And what are the types of UML diagram? The first is a structure and the behavior. What is mean by structure diagram? It's a structure diagram that is called a class diagram. What is a behavior diagram? How it is behaving. So it is more aligned towards my uh, sequence diagram. And if it is focus on a class diagram, what is the class diagram? Class diagram is all the classes have in the application have their class diagram, and how it is connected. It's defined two parts. If it is defined two parts, and whatever what we studied till now we study how we are representing the class. So in the understanding of the class, how we are representing, we first discuss and how, if I have a particular set of classes, then how I'm going to represent in a class diagram. The first on the topmost, I will going to write the name of my I'm going to write the name of my class diagram class. Then I will going to define the behaviors. Then I will going to define my sorry. The second is for the variable. The third is for my behavior. So, and with that, we will going to specify the access modifier. Plus represented as a public, has represented as a protected, and minus represented as a private. Am I right, Anbu? Yes, I'm right. You can take the screenshot. Yeah, anything else? Sure. Let's jump to the second part. What is the second part? What defines the second part? The second part is more aligned towards the relationship between the classes. Definitely, for the what particular project, we have multiple classes. Okay, so every classes has a different kind of relation. In the even the real life, we have a different relation with the different people. Similarly, in the real life of low level design implementation, we have a different relationship with the different classes. So now the question is, Anwar, what are the types of relationship in a class diagram? It's a UML diagram. In the UML diagram, so my answer is we have mainly four types of relationship between the classes. Let me go one by one. The first is called association, and the second is called aggregation, and the third is called composition, and the fourth is called inheritance. What we understand, we have a four type of relation. The first one is aggregation, second is first is association, second is aggregation, third is composition, the fourth is inheritance. Definitely we will going to understand with the example of the real life all the relationship, and by taking the coding example and their symbols. Let me go through one by one. The first one is for association. So, Anubhav, what is association? By its mean, by the word meaning, we can understand association. Okay, I can associate with someone. We can understand by a basic example like a car and a driver. So, a car has a driver. A car uses driver. A car has a driver. Okay. So it is a kind of use a yeah has a relationship where one classes use yeah interact with another classes. So how I'm going to represent a I'm going to represent a solid line with the two clauses. Example, we have a driver and car. So analogy, a car driver uses a car but doesn't own it. The car can exist independently. So association is something you are associated with someone. We can take another. I can take one other example. If I'm wrong, let me know. The one of the example I can able to think is that employee has a manager has associates. Just fix with this to get more understanding. Is like a more associating with another classes. The first is kind of what is the use a yeah has a relationship between yeah one class uses yeah, interact with another classes, and how I'm going to represent is a solid line connecting with the two clauses. Example, driver and classes. Driver and classes. Driver uses a car but doesn't own it. The car can exist independent. That is called association. It means that driver has a car, driver uses a car. Okay, and it's a has a relationship and has a relationship called as a association. Jump to the aggregation part. Anubhav, okay, I understand about association. Association means if I associate with someone else, then I can say we have a association relationship. That is my strong has a relationship. Like you can understand, you own something, something like you own. It, definitely, take the example of a car only. You own a Lexus, yeah, Audi. What you are going to say? I uses a car, yeah, I has a car. This is a strong relationship between you and your car. So this is called association. Then what is aggregation? Oh, something like similar to association. It sounds like that. So, what is the definition of aggregation? The definition of aggregation is that A has a relationship where the connected object can exist independently. The lifestyle of the part of independent of a whole, representing a solid line with an empty diamond and the container end. Hmm. Definition, definition. I don't like it, but if definition follows me, what should I do? Let's understand with an analogy part. A department has a teacher, but if department is dissolved, then teacher continue to exist and can join another department. It is showing, aggregation is a kind of a weak relationship, like association. Here we are associated with one particular part, but even without the thing which I am associated, I can live and have my own existence. That defines aggregation. What aggregation? Aggregation has a relationship where contained object can exist independently. Here's a keyword is important. Object can exist independently, and the part of independent of a whole represents the solid line and the empty diamond. The something which cannot go like a department and a teacher and keep it now. Okay, and the diamond is on a container side that is called department. Definitely on the next video we will going to revise more about aggregation, then we will going to complete the composition and inheritance, and this is what it is. But let me see if I will continue it. Thank you.